Getting right into it, even from the character select screen, you can already tell I already know how much fun this is gonna be. And yes, while playing this, that is exactly how I felt. And the world to go with that name is the dreadful, horribly named State of Bunnies. Wow, that makes my name feel really emo all of a sudden. Spawning in, you know the drill. Chop trees, mine, and loot literally anything to not die in a single hit. A kite is extremely important too, especially in this game having one very specific use that'll come into play right now. An achievement. And that's why I played this game. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this fake outro because, oh boy, we're not even close to the end. Housing is the next step because otherwise without NPCs to hold my hand, I will get absolutely nowhere in this game. The merchant spawned in the moment I finished the house for him, somehow because that was exact timing. And then, as none of us are surprised, I died on the very first night. One of many to come, I'm most assured. A lot of base building later, I found living wood trees, and in them was absolutely nothing useful. And again, nothing. I did actually find a desert which has the top of an underground pyramid, but I don't get to it quite yet. That'll come soon though, trust me. I head back to base for the start of cactus armor, since it's extremely helpful to kill things since it's like 10 times stronger than my actual weapons. Looking to explore, I head to the right this time to fill my map. Never mind, not ready to rage in there quite yet. Oh, there's the death that was gonna haunt me later. Can't wait for more. And there I go yet again, running all the way back to my items so they don't despawn, or I die again and get so mad that I rage quit and permanently lose said items. Man, this game is ruthless. Oh look, the jungle is right there, which is one of, if not the most dangerous biome in the entire game. Just wonderful. And there's no possible way to get to the ocean without crossing this or the other most dangerous biome in the entire game. Wow, I definitely got screwed over here. And this is why the jungle is so feared. Great. Cactus armor! I begin the elevator, which takes a long time sadly, which is just ridiculous. I find a life crystal for some extra health, and a ton of platinum around, which is crucial to better armor and tools. Platinum pickaxe. Dear God, mining with cactus is so slow, so an actually solid material will probably do some work in mining stuff finally. I get ready to make things go boom with a ton of bombs, blowing a giant chasm in my elevator, and then repeat that process. Even finding a house which had absolutely nothing useful, blowing up said house, and continuing straight to hell. This is actually the point where I realized modded Terraria is actually much better and much easier personally. So in the Steam store, there's an official modded Terraria app called Tmod Loader, which essentially just allows for very complex mods in the game. I don't have any other mods except for a boss checklist because it shows all the bosses and all events and how to spawn them all in essentially vanilla Terraria, which is extremely helpful because I don't feel like googling how to spawn each and every boss and what they drop. To my surprise, I find a very large pool of water above lava. I farm for a ton of obsidian for literally anything I could possibly need in the future, including an obsidian skull. Alright guys, get ready for the most exciting point in this entire playthrough. The next chapter is fishing. Yep, once again, get right back to this absolutely torturous endeavor just to get the boost we need to kill the bosses. Because we all know how horrible I am at killing bosses. Underground housing is next because it is a nightmare to even consider trying to fight a boss while there are several buildings blocking me from moving left to right. Fishing! Told you I'd get here eventually. Getting a little bit extra gold and a delicious sandstorm in a bottle for that improved double jump. Chef's kiss. Crossing over the treacherous Crimson, I reach the ice biome, hoping to reach the beast for that amazing magic conch and the ridiculously rare water walking boots. Sometime in the next century, I hope. Oh yeah, forgot the angler was here. He might be useful at some point. No joke, at this point I fished for a straight hour. That is just how desperate I am for the Terra Spark boots, which, if you don't remember, means every single one of these boots. Just wonderful. I explored the jungle to look for any progress whatsoever, and there was nothing of use except things that would probably give me a couple of cents from the merchant. Another living wood tree. And I spy more crimson on the other side, both confusing me and scaring me beyond belief, as that means I have to cross one or the other side of Crimson just to get to one beach. Terrifying, to say the least. Exploring the caverns next to my elevator, I find a life heart and quite a bit of tungsten, and I finally get the tungsten armor set, which gives me quite a bit more defense than just cactus. Magic mirror, finally. Holy, that was terrible without it. I get the message that slime is falling from the sky and immediately teleport up so I have the chance to fight King Slime immediately. And, without fail, and 150 dead slimes later, it spawns King Slime and I immediately get scared and then go eat dinner. Even with that break, I still die, but that's amazing how I was gone for an hour and a half and full of food and I still lost. I die over and over and over again just to get my stuff back and clear out the slimes. I venture down to the beach to hopefully get more stuff for the Terra Spark boots, and woo, blood moon! I love spending 7 real life minutes not doing what I want. Fishing Chapter 3. How long can I fish before I go insane? Answer, 2 hours and 10 minutes. That's how long before I had to shower the torture away that fishing is. Goblin Army 2! Wow, that's so cool! Except this one is actually useful because then I can get the Goblin Tinkerer, which will actually be one of, if not the most important NPC for this game. Holy crap! I maxed out my health and found the Goblin Tinkerer? My day was just made. Let's go entangle him at... That just ruined the next calendar year for me. Oh my god, this is just ridiculous. I collect my stuff, realize that I have to look for the Goblin Idiot once again, and then race against the clock of my sanity, and after finding the Goblin, that's when I start finally combining the mess of accessories in my equipment and chests. After buying the ultimate epic mini shark, after buying the ultimate epic mini shark, I right away find the closest altar and craft a slime crown to fight King Slime for revenge. And by the power of the mini shark, I finally crushed him to smithereens. Yes! A blood moon! That was exactly what I wanted while I was fishing. Thank you, Terraria gods, for blessing me with this just delightful gift. I am so gracious that I'm going to hide from it because I have nothing better to do. Boom, Slime King dead once again. And bam, I have Cthulhu message. And pow, he spawns. Not thinking about not having a platform for this fight, I immediately worry as I fire every single bullet I have available at the eye, hoping they all land since the mini shark was so fast, it cost a ton of money to get enough bullets to use it as it was intended. Like an entire run and gun spray and pray game. With him dead, I finally head into the final chapter of this video. Speed running a full session of gameplay. I fish for the angler, create a pretty big arena for the Torch God event, and then for housing eventually. Starting the event and taking 100 damage within 2 seconds, I already know that I failed and die very soon after, and immediately break the torches because definitely don't want that to start again until probably hard mode. Oh yeah, that's what I did not want to start. Man, spiders are so friendly. They are just the best. They hug you so much they nearly kill ya. Like what they did to me. More fishing. Making a beautiful Brain of Cthulhu arena in the Crimson. With absolutely no I hate you, spiders. As I was saying, absolutely no spiders. I swear to God. No you motherfucker. It is back to fishing part 3. Tales of Kill Me. So much fun. Especially when you continue to fish through it and meet a terrible, terrible demise. And again, I died once more. Grabbing my items, I go right back to fishing like nothing ever happened. I finally got an inklet of the wind and returned straight home completely satisfied. Starting off really strong, I head to the ocean. In case you didn't know, I despise fishing in this game because it's such a grind of its own, and it essentially is the reason my attention span is basically nothing at this point. Another hilarious thing that happens, I die in lava. And if you know anything about lava, it burns absolutely everything that is not explicitly immune to lava. So literally everything that I had in my inventory, except for my blizzard in a bottle and my angler hat for some reason, was destroyed. In a fit of rage, I didn't close the game, but I thought before it saved and quit, I would immediately try to find the save data and restore my progress because I was that salty. It did not. And that meant I lost those items too, since all dropped items get deleted when you save and exit a world. Another update, I made a money farm. It took a shockingly long amount of time to actually build, but it truly works. Finally, after all of this setup, it is finally time to craft the Bloody Spine, the summoning for the Brain of Cthulhu. And finally, after probably 7 hours of preparation, I finally annihilated the brain and have access to the Crimson Armor, which, when put all together, grants a massive health regeneration boost, and it is incredibly helpful when fighting in a serious battle, so I can heal on the run. This armor is actually so helpful that I immediately get rid of it and get Hellstone armor, which is much stronger in defense. Reforge. I did not wait. No, I can't use that again. Yes, that. And then I just earned some money for the eventual needing for reforging, since, oh boy, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Ooh, look at the pretty flowers that are going to be shockingly helpful once you actually know how to use them. They are the only way to make some of the most important potions like Iron Skin, Life, and Danger Sense? Probably, I don't know. Continuing on, the next item on the agenda is running across my entire world to face off against the ye old Skelly Boy at low night. That works, doesn't it? And, according to the footage, I suffer extreme casualties. Just kidding. The only casualties was Skeletron getting boned. Don't take that out of context. The game said it first, not me. Literally, within seconds, I run down to the dungeon in order to find the fabled Muramasa, which I didn't actually find for the next 3 or 4 runs down into the dungeon. I just got extremely unlucky. Oh, and the Cobalt Shield, which gets put into a different chest for another long time. The Old One's army, one of the simplest invasions that could happen, right? You stand in one spot and shoot left and right. It's so easy. If you believe me there, just know how gullible you are. It's not easy. Death comes free at this point. And here, we have a hive, which can be even more deadly than the Crimson, especially since the moment you break a hive block, there is an extremely high chance to spawn a bee, which can cause death shockingly quickly. Okay, just hear me out for a second. I think I might be a masochist with the amount of times I actually retried the Old One's army, and always get nowhere near the end, and it always hurts because it's 5 minutes of confidence, and it always gets shot down in literal seconds, as I get overwhelmed and brutally murdered, or I chicken out and hide in my bed. One of the two, I'm guessing. With the point of very little progress, I found enough materials after probably playing this world for, let's have a look actually. Oh, yeah, I was in the middle of a sentence, wasn't I? I crafted the cell phone, which displays an entire list of things under the minimap. And then I get the obsidian rose, which was literally the only item gatekeeping me from getting the Terraria boots. And oh boy, was it worth it. Now, finally back on the murder spree. Wow, I can't talk. Back on the murder spree with Queen Bee next on the list. And this fight, I regret not making the arena much larger, because this was actually a very close fight where I almost died very terribly. And would you look at that, finally the Muramasa, which literally I cut around 7 hours since I last mentioned it. That's how long this world has taken me. But then I realize I'm missing the blade of grass, which to me is extremely pointless unless it's for the Knight's Edge. And thank the Lord we have the best pre-hard mode weapon ever. Are you ready for the weirdest boss fight I've had ever? This is the Deerclops, the crossover boss from Don't Starve, which is actually a lot more powerful than any other boss so far, which is probably because it's the hard mode boss, which would make a lot of sense. It's a regular fight from anything else. It's got some special moves. You have to stay close to it, otherwise it'll teleport. But the actual weirdest thing here, and the only reason I was able to kill him at all, was that he essentially got stuck. Like, I've never seen a boss get stuck like that before. But once I kill him, I actually get a pet that is essentially just money trough, one of those flying pigs. And oh, it is so useful. But now I am finally one step closer to every boss killed in pre-hard mode, medium core master mode. And I did craft the shell phone, which can teleport me to the ocean, hell, my spawn, and my home. But I didn't record it because I don't record the grinding. Well, it doesn't matter now. All that does is that it's in my hands, and that the next step is creating the platform in the underworld for the Wall of Flesh fight, which is shockingly soon for you guys. And speaking of shockingly soon, here it is, the giant wall, the gatekeeper between me and the hardest challenge of Terraria. Now, my strategy was actually not to use the Knight's Edge, but to actually use the gray Zappinator, because there's always a chance to essentially just delete a large chunk of the boss's health, which the orange Zappinator does much more powerfully eventually. But for now, here is the probably very anticlimactic finale, the end of pre-hard mode. So in case you didn't remember, I killed the Wall of Flesh. Simple enough, trust me. And the main drop of this fight is actually the Demon Heart, which gives you an extra accessory slot, which is quite literally a godsend in this game, being how you actually get to survive in this game. Quite shocking, I know. Running immediately to the Crimson, we break 3 of the millions of altars in this world together: Palladium, Orichalcum, and breaking news, Kill has just died not once, not even twice, but 3 goddamn times. Now back to your local broadcast. Titania getting the Ankh shield. And wouldn't you know it, while grinding away to get said shield, a pirate invasion began, and I am AFK since I cannot stand to sit next to my computer for several hours at a time without doing anything. Oh hey friends, glad you're here. Oh, you want to come see my house? Well, let me just teleport in and show you around. Aw, you guys have parrots? God damn it. Yep. Oh, look at this mess. Who made this place an actual living hell for poor travelers? Dungeon time. The traveling merchant granted my wish and gave me the Sergeant United Shield, which does a ton of damage and homes in on up to 5 enemies at a time, which, when running from enemies that can one-shot me, aka everything, and I can auto-target and seriously damage them. Yes, the Goblin Army is invading. Now is the perfect time to test my and after a solid amount of both dying and 30 minutes of suffering, the event is finally over so I can go cry in peace. 10 hours of the grind later, and finally the Ankh shield is in my hands. And it is the ultimate boost to defense, and the several immunities that would usually kill me in seconds now cannot kill me at all. The mechanical worm. I hate my life and everything that it has to do with, all because of this stupid worm. Oh look, another pirate invasion. How fun. Thinking back to my original strategy for the mechanical boss fights, I used the Sergeant United Shield and the banana rings, since they were incredible to kill the probes and still avoid the head of the destroyer. However, that proves entirely useless in this fight due to the massive amount of health and damage everything has and does. Oh, finally titanium. I can't wait to get the armor set 10 hours after starting hard mode for some unknown reason. And one eternity later, I finally got the titanium pickaxe, which is the only thing that can mine chlorophyte. However, you have to kill at least one mechanical boss to spawn it and for it to spread, which is going to be hell. Full titanium armor, which is actually 3 tiers above Hellstone armor, which I've had for so long. I'm so stupid. Stupid worm. God damn it. Ah yes, the slime queen. Hopefully I can kill. Okay, never mind. It's not worth it. Even closer than before. Great. The next step, which I should have done sooner, is build a man-made corruption biome to summon the Eater of Worlds and get a juicy piece of loot known as the Worm Scarf, reducing all damage dealt to me by a whopping 17%. Finishing up an arena, I place torches and then fight Queen Slime, finally killing her this time and moving immediately to the destroyer to make a large amount of game progression, but wouldn't you know it, I died. What a surprise. But then finally the deed is done and progress can be achieved. But then I got cocky and died to the twins since I still had my buffs. But there was a moment in the fight that I had to rewatch. Look at this damage. 26,000 and then 13,000. Each with a single shot of the Zappinator, which is actually ridiculous. I still died, but again, great knowledge I'll never use. But after the twins go down, it's time for quite possibly the easiest mechanical boss, which is actually not right at all, by the way. Except I forgot to record it. Surprise, surprise. So we'll get back to that fight. I'll throw it in later in the video. Finally, the True Knight's Edge. One of the best weapons this far, and it will carry me well into hard mode until the solar eclipse event, which causes Mothrongs to spawn, which also has the chance to drop the Broken Hero Sword, the key to the Terra Blade. The grind for Chlorophyte is next on the agenda, and wouldn't you know it, I got the True Excalibur, leaving one item remaining for the Weapon of Heroes. There we go, back to him finally, and there he goes. The old one's army approaches and they have a lot more health than I expected and prepared for, in all honesty. Perfect, a solar eclipse while I'm gone. Isn't that fun? Let's count the deaths before I realize. Too many. And then all done finally for game progression. Speaking of progression, I spent the next 3 hours after that eclipse crafting the Celestial Cuffs, which is a huge boost to all magic damage, aka the Zappinator, I do, and adds more mana for those extra juicy shots. Starting on the smallest Plantera arena in the world, I spend the next half hour on the spot and it turns out quite nice. I actually see how this game can turn into an aesthetics game real quick, and I love it. But I summon her up and die pretty quickly into her second phase because I got impatient building an arena. And realizing I had only titanium gear, I searched the entire jungle for chlorophyte, and looking back, I ask, can you create your own chlorophyte farm out of mud and ore? I craft a full set of chlorophyte gear and run back to the jungle to finish the arena for the rematch of the century. Hooray! And after 6 solar eclipses, 20 deaths during those eclipses, and 13 Mothrons spawning in, I finally got the broken hero sword and crafted the Terrorblade. I summoned up Queen Slime to show her up in combat, being how I decimate everything that stands in my way. The king of the reptiles is up next, being Golem, and I implement the ultimate technique of running back and forth, confusing the beast. Shockingly, it works, and I try again to get some good loot, doing just as well and cowardly running home so I don't lose all my stuff. With Golem down, the dungeon hunt for the extra rare paladins can commence for that delectable shield of his that will grant me a ridiculous amount of defense. And after 2 hours of sitting in the dungeon, I finally get it and craft the Frozen Shield, which, when I'm below 50% life, it reduces my damage by 25%, being the most broken item in the game so far. I also upgrade my AFK farm to increase spawn rates and let turtles spawn in so I can rip their shells off and put it on my own skin and get beetle armor. The best armor before Moonlord. Yay, another solar eclipse, cause isn't this just so much fun? I work on crafting the 2 events, which are the Pumpkin Moon and the Naughty Present events, which are honestly a lot of fun since they make a ton of money and they are surprisingly easy. Also helping to achieve the goal of the Zenith, which requires basically every single powerful sword in this game, plus a copper sword, and it is a broken weapon, so I hopefully get it soon. I get the Rod of Discord since that is the best way to possibly avoid the Moonlord's ridiculous laser beam and actually allowing me to live. Next up is setting my spawn by the dungeon and taking on the lunatic cultist. And on a time crunch, as I was getting called to dinner twice by my mom. I'll be up in a couple minutes. I'm coming, hold on. With the cultists defeated, the pillars spawn around the map, and the last challenge before the Moonlord. The first pillar to take on is the Stardust pillar, since it can craft the best summon in the entire game, being either the Stardust Dragon or the Stardust Cell. And I easily cheese the pillar with a flying mount, so only the cells spawn, and then instantly destroy the pillar once the shield is down. Next is the Vortex pillar, and the cheese for this one is staying high and off to the side, so only the portal enemies appear, and it's only 2 at a time, so they are easy to deal with. Then the solar, then the nebula. We get the message of impending doom. Before the Moonlord, I did in fact build a nurse healing box. However, there was an issue that I will mention in just a bit. The big boy himself spawns and we run away trying not to die. But if you'd noticed how much time is left in the video, it didn't go well.
No.
Remember that issue with the nurse box? Well, if you take a look here, it shows the nurse isn't
not there.
here. So, my entire strategy is useless and can't even be used. Wait. Ah yes, Martians have arrived. This is where I can get the UFO mount and the influx waiver, the next zenith crafting material, which this event can also give a steady income of coins since late game enemies give the most amount of coins. Once the UFO spawns, I right away hop out of my hole and fight him in the sky, which goes well until it doesn't.
No!
I give up on that dream and head over to the ocean for an optional but kinda not boss, being Duke Fishron, who can drop a mount that moves basically at Mach 1 while it's raining, making it super effective during the Moonlord fight. This fight is really easy considering I got the Eye of Cthulhu yo-yo and the yo-yo bag, which throws the yo-yo farther and it just does so much damage, so it's one of the best things to have here. However, it's never that easy.
because as the fight goes on, Duke gets much faster, so it's harder to stay close enough to hit it with the yo-yo, so we switch back to the Terrorblade. Other than that, the fight goes smooth with no deaths, and we get the Fishron mount, which is godly luck. With this brand new mount, I sleep literally days waiting for it to rain. As soon as it does, I summon up the Squid Lord and fight him once again. On the contrary, because there always is, it actually stopped raining mid-fight, so I lost all speed boosts that the cute mount got.
Ow.
And I was essentially moving like I was running in a dream. Oh, and that was my last sigil for the Moonlord fight. I spawned him in, but realized I forgot literally every buff needed, yet for some reason all I needed was the Terrorblade, my summons, and Vampire Knives. All the pillars go down with ease since I'm determined to beat this game here and now. He awakens and we get to work. Using our Daybreak to deal as much damage as possible to the closest side to us, we just run. We have our Seal mount with the rain to get our scared little ass out of there and hit the giant scary man as much as possible. The impressive thing in this fight is how fast my mount is, because I can actually outrun the tentacle thing the Moonlord shoots at me, which gives me the Moonbite debuff, which doesn't let me use my awesome Vampire Knives, making them uncool and very useless since they do minimal damage. However, without the debuff, I can attack Ye Old Lord and actually heal, both saving me money and letting my potion sickness wear off. My knees were weak and my arms were heavy. I was vomiting on my sweater and Mom was making spaghetti, but somehow, in some way, I had finally brought his health down to nothing, meaning I had just beaten the hardest challenge in my entire life. Except, this is not the end. I mentioned it before, but I'm going to get the Zenith. I'm going to beat this world in its entirety.
Let's go! Oh my god, finally. Jesus. Ow, my hand too.
Catching prismatic lace swings in the night, I wait for the perfect chance to use them for a hard boss later on. Getting the Zenith requires the longest grind of all time, which means I need to kill the Moonlord to get 2 swords, the Pumpkin for the Horseman's Blade, the Martian Saucer for the Influx Waver, and the Copper Sword from the Merchant. I'll speed through this because it probably takes me at least half of the 39 hours of post-Moonlord footage that I have left to edit. And now, with the Horseman's Blade in my hands, I have 5 of the 10 swords, meaning I'm only halfway there. Whoa. The last sword comes into my hands, and it is beautiful. Finally, being able to craft the Zenith, being the best weapon in the entire game, and those lace wings I caught summon the Empress of Light, who goes down in seconds. The drill containment unit is up next, but that'll come in handy later on, so I'll mention it then. This is the moment that I start the 28-hour journey to get 100% in this world, with one looming achievement that made this take so long. But starting off strong, getting the Die achievement, fly a drone to the moon, drown myself just so I can survive by drinking water, kill Betsy for the first time, killed a gang of snowmen during a solar eclipse. Hey, if you don't mind, I'm gonna skip to the 2 most important achievements, but I will leave a list of the ones I still need to complete here. And I'll move on to the most important ones. Super Helper Minion, which requires literally 200 quests completed by the Angler, and Good Riddance, which is completely purifying all of the world from every evil. Oh, and then a Rare Realm. I'll mention that one soon. To cleanse the world, I first have to dig tunnels throughout the entire world so I can actually purify it with the Terraformer, the shimmered form of the Contaminator. An hour in, I get so sick of going through each and every row that I decide, you know what, I'll just take this whole world with me and break every single block in the ocean. And then I decide to speed up the process by using the most explosive weapon with literal nukes to demolish this hell of a world. This is what I do for the next 12 hours of total gameplay, since this took so long to fully accomplish for some reason. And then I set another goal, one that I will regret for many months to come. And it is to create a brand new world with the Get Fixed Boy seed, and known to many players as the legendary seed, which is the hardest challenge in all of vanilla Terraria, which will come eventually to a channel near you. All of this got to the point where I literally had to stop destroying everything just so I could finish fishing with so much left to do. And then I just went to do homework while I waited because this still has 2 hours left of fishing before I can actually finish this game. Being so close, I've just been so excited, and especially when I get the 200th angler quest, I move everybody out of their outside of the boundary home so they can live in my Skylander-esque base, and finally blow up the worst world I've ever experienced in Terraria. God damn it. Oh, wait, nope, that wasn't.